Thank you. My name is Mike Bailey, and what I want to do today is to show you a bit about Qualcomm's augmented reality platform we call Vuforia, with the goal being to give you some insights into how the technology is being used with some of the latest and greatest and maybe most interesting use cases, and then as you're contemplating developing mobile strategy for your brand or your client's brand, that you're up to speed on what Qualcomm is doing. Just one quick slide on Qualcomm. Qualcomm, 25 years in business. We have a very fortunate position of sitting right in the middle of the wireless ecosystem. Qualcomm is the #1 provider of chips to wireless devices, and that position enables us to talk to the sensors and then create really interesting experiences around those sensors, with certainly the camera being one of those sensors. And this stat might be a year old now, but last year it was proclaimed that 10% of all pictures ever taken were taken in the last 12 months. So certainly people with this device are actively opening up the camera for all sorts of things. And then I don't want to take it for granted that everybody knows exactly what augmented reality is. This is where a digitally enhanced image is put over the real view of the world, so you can superimpose 3D objects, videos, buy it now buttons, just about anything over your own view of the real world. And what this does and what this enables you to do, and there have been certainly no shortage of initial struggles or gimmicky use cases perhaps with the technology, but what this does now is this fundamentally solves a problem, and it's how to connect devices to stuff. And you can do that by pointing the camera at it, and then if you can connect to your product or your packaging or your advertising, you can then engage the consumer. And we have a platform that does that. So what I'd like to do is go through a little bit of the market traction, and then we'll go through a handful of fairly detailed use cases that I hope you'll find interesting, and then just a couple of tech things to consider, and we'll wrap it up. But the word of the day is engagement, and in my hopes of engaging you, this is best presented via demonstration, and we don't have that luxury today. So we'll make our way through with videos and slides, so I'll start with a video. So that was a little snapshot of a few of the use cases and brands. Like I said, I want to go through a little more detail. But first off, most people are using this today for their packaging or their advertising or other, fairly flat printed material. And I'll get to where that's changing. But there are all kinds of ways to initiate the session via an image recognition. Recently, in the video there was a bit on text recognition. That feature is live now. And then, although it may sound easy, we just launched the ability to recognize cylinder as well, which is a fairly significant step forward in computer vision technology. So now bottles, cans, cups would all be in play for connecting, again, the device to stuff. And then the next frontier for all of this, which really will happen in 2014, is true 3D product recognition. And that is, again, another huge step forward in computer vision technology, in camera technology, and in processing power, because you've got the additional elements on lighting and angle that really make something that's three-dimensional look extremely different from different angles. But all of that is being solved in the lab right now. So then once you've recognized an object, what can you do? And as I see this ring here, all kinds, I mean, dozens of use cases are kind of running through my head right now. The NFL just launched an application with Deion Sanders for full motion video upon recognition of an image target. Walmart routinely uses augmented reality to unlock scavenger hunt type advancements in games and apps by recognizing the cover of a major motion picture DVD. And then all of the toy companies are using 2 and 3D animation with games and other toy experiences now. So now that I've got an image target and I've recognized it, you know, what are truly the business benefits to that? And in most cases, we see there's quite a customer acquisition and retention, but whether it's driving additional traffic, consumer loyalty, creating new experiences, adding a buy it now or e-commerce capability, the list is really getting quite interesting on the full circle. We're extremely pleased with this traction. There are over 70,000 developers that are working with the Vuforia SDK now, and that has resulted in almost 6,000 commercial applications. About 60% of those are Android, but we do certainly see most of the usage on iOS devices. And then this last quarter, of these numbers here, there were over 25 that in the first 90 days had over 100,000 downloads. And so what this says to us is that this is increasingly becoming a meaningful way for brands to be able to connect or engage with their consumers. And then the research was done by Informa, and we had them go out and they look at the whole universe of verified branded applications that have a camera component to it. They then scour the web and PR and blogs and app stores, and when that confirmation has been made that it's an app with this capability, they then go and verify the source of the computer vision technology, and certainly we're very pleased that has resulted in 4 out of 5 applications have the Vuforia AR capability built into it that have this capability. So an 80% market share is where we stand right now. All right, let's go and look through some detailed use cases. So Mattel tells me that Hot Wheels is the #1 selling vehicle of all time. And they had a challenge that they put out new, interesting, Hot Wheels tracks every year. But how can they take a 40-year-old toy and add a digital layer to it without adding any incremental cost to the production and create a new play pattern? So what they did, and it was briefly in the video there, but the first thing they did was they created an iPad stand that docks right into the base of the Hot Wheels track and appropriately points it at the right place on the track. And then they created an app that they call Hot Wheels PowerPort. And as the car travels through the field of view, there's the ability to detect that and then create digital experiences for it. So if you saw there was a robot chasing the car, or it drove into the shark's mouth. Certainly, Mattel is very pleased with this. The early downloads, this just launched in July. Downloads have exceeded their expectations, but what has really happened is that they have created a new play pattern now with a digital layer on top of it, with a 40-year-old toy, and they have extended the hours of play with that toy. So this has certainly been very successful for them. Let's see, Toyota 86, in this case here, Toyota launched a sports car, a sports coupe. And the objective here, or the challenge with this, is that Toyota, terrific car brand, probably known for durability and reliability, wanted to also generate buzz with this new sports car to appeal to passionate, sports car fans. So what they did was they created an application, and it gives you the ability to actually go and drive the Toyota 86 around your physical environment. And as part of that fun engagement, they are then able to convey all of the interesting specs and important specs of the car to the potential buyer. So this one resulted in over 600,000 downloads and started out as a regional campaign and then was expanded to a worldwide campaign. Probably one of the more, attention-getting applications that have used the technology. Maxim, 2 million circulation. They published the Maxim Hot 100. Their challenge was simply to create digital experiences with the physical periodical. And so in this case here, using Vuforia, the app will unlock the cover, create full motion video, show you the video from the print magazine of the actual photo shoot, and then throughout the magazine there are interactive components with it that will augment the pages. Think of it in this case as print becomes a video portal. And they had over 1 million views in the first month of this, and have launched this a year ago, and every cover since then has had this technology built into it. So they're certainly very pleased with that capability. McDonald's, let's see, 69 million people a day eat at McDonald's. 1% of the world's population eats there every day. And like all restaurants, they have a challenge how to drive business and repeat business. So in this case here, McDonald's created the Save, Play, and Smile application. And what this does is it gives diners special offers. It will let them collect magic stickers, pose with Ronald McDonald for photos, and it's the heart of a regional loyalty campaign they've started. And this one has just launched as well, but they've informed us that this is already verifiably increasing traffic and repeat business for them now. So the Guinness Book of World Records, one of the best-selling books of all time, 125 million copies in 100 countries, 25 languages. And they definitely have a challenge in that how do they sell the same book with a few changes to it in the last 12 months, but effectively what is largely the same book year after year. And so their solution was to create a Guinness Book companion application where, if you think about it, this is a really wonderful use case of this technology, because as I'm looking at the book, I'm extremely, in all likelihood, curious about that world record. Well, now I can actually experience the record in many cases. So what happens is whether it's the biggest, smallest, fastest, whatever it is, the world records actually explode off the page in conjunction with the application. And they had tons of impressions, lots of downloads, and again, extended the time of use with the book and created a very, very special experience. And so I'll roll a little video of this. There's no audio. It's actually kind of funny, I think, but this is the shortest living man. And when you point the application at the page, he stands up and looks at you. And then in this case, this 3D model has animation and movement too. "21.5 inches tall." The recognition takes place that quickly. The largest spider is, I believe, 11 inches in diameter. And then in this case here, the spider becomes interactive as well. picked some interesting pages for augmentation. Shortest dog is 6 inches tall, I think. So anyway, you're only limited by your imagination, what you want to do with this, and I guess perhaps the budget. But all right, Ping, one of the top golf brands in the world, they had a very interesting challenge with this. Earlier this year, they launched the new G25 driver, and it is an adjustable driver. And for the rather sophisticated golf buyer, there's probably a lot of information that you would want to convey that might be a challenge in just a print ad. So what they did here was in the golf magazines earlier this year, which the content, I mean, the advertising is, in golf magazine, is just as appealing in most cases as the actual content. They had an augmented reality companion application, and I wish I could demo this for you. This one is really fun. You point the device at the page, and up pops up, similar to Guinness, the actual driver itself, so you get a full rendering of the head, and you can spin it around and all that. And then there are interactive buttons giving you the head design, loft information, how you would adjust it, things like that. And while all of that is going on, the 2012 Masters champion and their sponsor, Bubba Watson, has video of himself navigating you through the entire experience. And all of this is enabled because you just pointed your device at a simple page in a magazine. They're extremely happy with this. This was a first of its kind as far as the golf world, and is just the beginning of a whole new category now for product visualization. Hopefully you guys get Ballard magazine, similar to Pottery Barn or Crate & Barrel. And a very simple goal was to bring print into the digital age. And so they created a Ballard companion application. And in this case here, as opposed to product visualization, when you point the device at the page, it recognizes each and all of the products on the page, and upon clicking that product, you're then presented with a rich list of options from social media sharing, add it to my cart, save it to my favorites, read the reviews, and all of that was enabled because you put a digital layer over the magazine ad or the catalog ad. And this has resulted in now a whole new set of meaningful metrics for Ballard, because they have a real, now they have hard metrics on where catalog readers are spending their time and what they're clicking on. The iconic brand Lego cranks out 2 million bricks every hour. And they have a lot of touch points with customers. There's 40 million people who go through their stores every year. They have 17 million uniques on the website every month. And they have a catalog that touches about 6 million people every quarter. And so what they wanted to do here was to increase the engagement in a cross-channel way with the catalog, or at least via mobile, starting with the catalog. And so there was a brief clip on the video here, but this again, pointing the device at the page, and up pops up the full built model, but not just the model itself. They've also enhanced it with audio and animation to add to the story and the character and interest of that particular toy model. That then also would leads to what was the designer thinking when they created this model, so it can link you right to the video of the actual person who made the model, or devised the model. And then, of course, and very importantly, right to buy it now, an e-commerce component for them. So this has, similar to the other catalogs, given us insights into all kinds of other interesting metrics, but verifiably here, what was maybe, seconds with a page has turned into these 4 to 10 minute highly engaged sessions with the app and the catalog together. So needless to say, LEGO is extremely pleased with this, this highly rated application. On the tech side, everything I just described, it really better work, and it better work the first time. Otherwise, we've wasted all of the effort behind it. And hopefully, you can appreciate that this computer vision stuff is very difficult across lighting and angles and environments. It's one thing for it to make it work in the lab, but it's a whole other thing to actually make it work in the real world. And when you're trying to render a 3D object, or maybe the object isn't perfectly still, or there's the term occlusion means part of the target that you're looking to recognize is covered or in some way obstructed. We have solutions for all of that, and hopefully that's represented in the market share. But suffice to say that Qualcomm has an army of vision engineers working on this, and so when and where you're considering the tech for this kind of capability, I hope you give us a good look at it. The obligatory awards, there's an augmented reality award event. Anyway, we took the best SDK in that. And then finally, we really see this as, again, a meaningful way to engage with consumers. And no matter whether it is in your advertising or in the store or in the home, there is a common theme there now, and everybody has their smartphone with them. And if you can give your app the ability to see, you then give the consumer the ability to connect with your product or your brand or your client's brand. So that's really the message I wanted to share with you today, and thank you for coming.